After waiting what feels like an eternity, JoJoLands is finally here, and I'm super excited. This is my first time experiencing a new part for the first time. This part takes place in Hawaii, which is pretty cool. And our new JoJo is named Jodio Joestar, and he is 15 years old. Which Jodio in Spanish means fucked up, which I thought was pretty funny. Whether or not that actually means anything, we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm already a pretty big fan of him. I like his personality, I like his design, and he is very obviously the alternate universe counterpart to Giorno. They're both gangsters, they're both 15. Giorno is the son of Dio. Jodio literally has Dio in his name, but they do have some differences. Giorno hates drugs and hates people that sells them, while Jodio, on the other hand, doesn't give a fuck and would sell drugs to a child if he could. And we also get introduced to his brother, Dragona Joestar, who is 19 years old. And despite his appearance, he does use he/him pronouns. Whether they're trans or non-binary or whatever, we don't exactly know. But hey, the first trans character in JoJo's, that's pretty cool. And I like his tattoos. He's got some dragon-themed tattoos, so for obvious reasons, I'm obviously a big fan of that. And I have a very strong feeling that this is supposed to be the alternate universe Jolene. There's not really much connecting the two right now, but I have a gut feeling. We also get introduced to their mom, who's named Barbara Ann Joestar. All the neighborhood kids love her apparently. And she also acts like another parallel to Giorno. While Giorno's mom was neglectful and he didn't like his mom, Barbara Ann is actually a very loving mother, and Jodio cares about her a lot. So it's basically the opposite of Giorno. And our next introduction is Paco Lovelantis, or Paco, whatever you want to say, and he's 19 years old. He's got these cool scars around his eyes, and he's missing like a chunk out of his ear, because his dad was abusive and bit a chunk of it off. Why not just do it like a good old-fashioned smack across the face? And he's also a gangster with Jodio and Dragona, and they all work together at a fashion store named Aiko Aiko. Which is where we get our final character introduction. The owner of the store, and also the principal of the school they go to, Meryl May Q. She is 49 years old, and she is a massive woman. She is like 10 feet tall and super buff. She's like double the size of everyone else. And she loves fashion. She loves drawing up fashion designs. And she's also their boss in terms of working at the store and also in terms of criminal work. She calls the three of them into her office and gives them a new mission to go and steal a diamond from this rich tourist. But three people isn't going to be enough, so she introduces them to this new guy who goes unnamed for now. But he's an upperclassman from the school they all go to, and Jodio sold drugs to him earlier in the chapter. And he's wearing this weird, like, skin-tight bodysuit, kind of like the pink guy, but he wears clothes on top of it. I don't really get it. And then we get to the final page of the chapter, which is a double-page spread of Jodio, Dragona, and Paco and their stands. Jodio's stand is very different than the usual main JoJo stand, because it's not a punchy, fighty ghost. The only other JoJo who didn't have a punching, fighting ghost was Johnny, but Tusk eventually evolved into one. It's got 4 long needle-like legs that like connect up into a buff torso. It's got a robotic head with these giant feather shoulder things. And it's got a little cone at the bottom of its torso. It's got like a little bow tie on it. It looks cute. And I'm assuming that cone is how it uses its power. And it lets him like create and control these water droplets, which I'm assuming comes out of the cone on the bottom of its torso. The only use we saw Jodio use it for now was to pin people to the ground, and it looked like it was crushing them to death because it was using so much force. And I'm guessing he can use them in different ways too, like instead of just crushing people with them, maybe he can like fire them off like projectiles. And the stand name, November Rain, named after the song November Rain by Guns N' Roses. It's not a bad song. It's not my favorite. Slow rock isn't really my thing, but it's definitely not bad. I can see why people like it. And I predict that the localized stand name will be November Precipitation. Next we have Dragona stand Smooth Operators, named after the song Smooth Operator by Sade. And I really like the song. I really like jazz. Design-wise, it's got these tank treads that are attached to its mechanical body, and it's got headlights for eyes, and these weirdly human arms. They still have mechanical parts on them, but especially the hands just look very human. And it's a colony stand, which is cool. Well, we don't get too many of those. And its power is to basically just move things that are attached to objects in any way he wants. It's the best way I can describe it. Like, for example, he uses it to change the numbers on a license plate, and he can use it on people's face, like moving someone's eyes to the side of their head or pulling someone's ear like it was rubber. And the way he activates it is by scratching. He's got to scratch whatever he wants to move first. And I predict the localized stand name will be Slick Workers. And the third and final stand we are introduced to is The Hustle, who is Paco's stand, named after The Hustle by Van McCoy and the Soul City Symphony. And this was the only song I've actually heard before this chapter. And The Hustle is a banger. I mean, it's The Hustle. Everyone likes The Hustle. And this stand doesn't actually have a physical appearance. This stand is bound to Paco's muscles. And it gives him the ability to grab whatever he wants with his muscles, which is super useful for stealing. How he actually steals stuff with it, we don't know. We didn't see it. The muscles could like reach out and grab it, or maybe they just have to like, something just has to like stick to his arm or something. He just kind of walks by somebody, and then all of a sudden he's just got objects all over his arms that he stole. And it looks very painful when he's grabbing stuff with his muscles. Like, the best way I can describe it is that it looks like the feeling of a Charlie horse. And my prediction for the localized stand name is The Bustle. Another thing to point out is that Jodio loves mechanisms. The whole world runs on mechanisms. He goes to school not to learn, but for the mechanism of it. Yeah, that's even the title of the chapter. But yeah, very packed chapter. We already have our main cast together. We have most of their stands introduced. We already have some sort of plot to look forward to. Whether or not the whole part will be about stealing that diamond, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, very good chapter overall. One of the best introductions to any JoJo part. And I'm very excited to see what happens next. It's fun experiencing a brand new part for the first time. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Radical!